Get the cake right to the side sex. Leave the fire and the roof style stuff. I'm on that grind like we're chasing the stars. From Millmore to Du Valley, we've come so far. Talk about legends, yeah, we know the score. Ronnie, I'm Bobby, we remember you more. From the highs of the Wembley fight to losing our trousers, still we ignite. Red and white with the pride, we're never gonna bow. Fighting like Millermen, hear the roar now. We're Millermen, we stand up tall. Through ups and downs, we give it all. From Millmore to Du Valley.
Good evening and welcome to Terry's Talk. We have a special edition tonight. We have Alfie with us, the legend. He doesn't like being called a legend, but I'm going to call it him all night because for me, he was the only reason why I used to go to Don Valley, and that's the honest. That's me being honest. A natural goal scorer, built to score goals. Alfie, welcome.
Cheers, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's a bit uneasy being called a legend because I didn't really achieve anything as a team, so that's why. And obviously, I was only there 2 and a bit seasons, so it's a bit. So I don't know. It feels a bit weird to be called a legend. Don't get me wrong; it's nice, but it still feels a bit weird to be remembered as that when we didn't really. We lost the playoff final, which is a bit sweet, really.
Yeah, I mean, you played 93 times, scoring 52 goals. That for me is incredible. I mean, you went on to end up playing in the Premier League, and people used to want to carry me away with the white coats when I used to say it. I said, we've got a striker who's going to play in the Premier League. Oh, Wednesday fans, yeah, whatever. So I'm telling you, he's just a born finisher. I've not seen one at Rotherham like that since sort of, obviously, Mark Robbins were very natural finisher, but you just epitomise that. So, yeah, thank you for making Don Valley a little bit acceptable. We've got Pete with us as well tonight. Pete, how you doing?
Yeah, all gone, mate. It's nice to have a guest on who's probably best finisher I've seen at club, him and Mark Robbins, to be fair, yeah. Can't wait for the show.
And we've got Tom with us. How you doing, Tom?
All right, Lee, P, Adam, fantastic. Thanks for coming, Adam. It means a lot. And what a player, what a career you have had, my friend. So, looking forward to the show.
Cheers for welcoming.
Already, Big Dog says, Alf, one of the best Fox in the boxes Rotherham has ever had. Get your boots on. We need you in League Two. So,
FC United won't be happy. There'll be a fight on. FC United won't let me go.
Yeah, we won't be able to afford you. That's the actual truth. We'd struggle to afford to pay your wages, mate, to be honest.
I might get bought again. You never know.
Yeah, that's it. Well, you've got, 27 goals for them, so still knocking them in.
Yeah, I do all right, mate. Like I say, you never really forget it. I'm a little bit different as a player, a bit more of a false nine than a fox in the box, but I still managed to score a few, and I'm setting them up as well, which always helps.
Yeah. So obviously you're going to be returning to the New York Stadium. That it was a shame you never really sort of played for Rotherham there, because I mean, talk to us. What were your thoughts on Don Valley? I mean, it was a bit of a.
Well, obviously it was a bit of a shithole, weren't it? Really, but for me, it was great. It was like my playground in the end. But it wasn't great for atmosphere and crowd involvement. It was sort of almost, I don't know, a bit of a pre-season friendly sort of vibe, weren't it? Whereas you've got one stand which is open. You sat so far away from the pitch. The pitch was crap after 3 games because of that concert that was on it. So
it was U2, wasn't it? I think it was U2 concert.
Yeah, before Rochdale, before I played against Rochdale again, and the pitch was in awful state. Then obviously it was summer and all the grass had died, I think, and then when it got to winter, it was awful. To be fair though, the one good thing was the Aldershot game when we played the second leg at home was actually a mint sort of atmosphere, considering that stadium's not great for football. That was a really good night, really good atmosphere. and obviously, you know, a win for us as well that got us to Wembley was amazing. So that was a nice sort of time. But the rest of the you know, sort of journeys to to it wasn't great, mate. If I'm honest, it was not something I look back fondly on turning up at the Don Valley and going, yes, I can't wait to play here. It was, you know, I just watched score goals. That was it.
Yeah, it was a strange stadium, strange atmosphere. I do remember the Alderstock game. I think that's the only time that we ever had any atmosphere at that stadium. The very only time. I remember him used to take your tops off the bottles at the stadium. So I said, what are you taking the bottle off? And it was like, well, you could throw it on the pitch. I said, if I could reach the pitch with a Coke bottle, I said, the players are about that big. I'd have got a bronze for the Olympic medal in javelin or something. Do you know what I mean? There's no way of getting anywhere near the pitch. I mean, the players used to look like tiny. But yeah, it was a bad time, but we made the most of it. It was a place we went to get to the stadium that we're at now. So obviously in a minute I'm going to play a quick video from Kev, but Alfie, I just want you to set to players to fans who are listening, why should they come and watch them? So a lot of people, obviously the ticket sales have been struggling, and my message to them is obviously players like yourself that are coming out to take time. We may never get to see you guys again ever playing a Rotherham shirt. It's a one-off game. They've kept the cost down as well, which is really good. So it is affordable. I know people are struggling with, obviously, we've had high ticket prices, but it's a one-off game. It's for a charity as well. So you just tell them what it means to you for people to turn up, really.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, this is the only time I'll manage to play, you know, at Rotherham at this a nice stadium with, you know, with a proper fans backing, where, you know, they'll get to actually see me up close, and I'll get to, you know, feel the New York sort of stadium atmosphere playing for Rotherham. I think I came back once for, might have been Wolves, I think, and maybe Wigan, and I didn't play. And, you know, I had a great reception then, but it'd be nice to actually be in a Rotherham kit and be able to give back to the fans who've, you know, not seen me for a long time. You know, hopefully be able to show them that I'm still, you know, all right at football as well, and I look like the player that I used to be. But, you know, I think the most important thing is it's all going to charity. It's all going to a fantastic cause. I think that's something that should be applauded. And, you know, if you can afford it, I think it's, you know, something that will be a great event. There's some great players coming back who've played for the club, and it's something special that we can all share together. And, you know, I know it's been a not great season, you know, performance-wise on the pitch, but there's still some great things that can come out of it. And like I say, the charity that it's going to is a fantastic, and I think it's something that should be really applauded. And if you can afford it, it's something that you should try and get down to and enjoy the atmosphere and enjoy the day as well.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think it goes with saying you definitely want to win as well, don't you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, there's no two ways about it.
We allow betting on charity games, but if there was, I think I'd definitely be putting Alfie down for first goal scorer. So we'll just hear a quick message from Kev, because obviously he's a bit under the thumb and he's had to go out with the missus tonight. So he wanted me to play this little show clip. So I'll just play that for you now. Just bear with me 2 seconds.
Hi everyone, Kev Johnson here. First of all, a little thank you to Lee and all the gang at the KB Terrace Talk podcast for doing this 1 hour special tonight. We have managed to get the legend Adam Le Fondre to come on, so he's going to be talking to you guys shortly about his time at Rotherham, what he's looking forward to about the game coming back, etc, etc. As you can see behind me, there's a QR code, so if you do want to scan that now, that'll take you straight to the ticket page. We'll be able to purchase tickets. We have seen a slight increase this week, which is fantastic. It's been well publicised that tickets were very slow on sale. But that's, you know, given what's currently happening at the club, we fully expected that. So we are seeing an increase now, so thank you. We've still got a target in mind. Please remember, every single penny of the profits is going to be split between the Rotherham United Community Trust and the Rotherham Hospice. The 2 worthy charities, and they both need the money. They've both got plans for it, so please jump on board and get behind it. You're going to hear from Adam soon, but please scan that code. The day itself, Sunday, May the 3rd, New York Stadium, around probably 12:30, 1 p.m. There'll be lots of activities outside for family. There'll be lots of opportunities to meet the players, have photographs, talk to them, signatures. The game itself is going to kick off 3 o'clock. Mr. Howard Webb is referee. No other than Van Swarner is one of his assistant linesmen, which is fantastic. There's plenty of players coming back who are not playing, for the likes of Alan Lee, Tony Town and Mike Pollitt, Richie Barker, players like that who can't play, but they're coming back to support the day. So please, I implore you, please forget about what's currently happening on the pitch, because we know it's not good, but this is good, and this is for you. This is not just for two amazing charities, this is for the fans who deserve something in the centenary season. So please get behind it, and I can't wait to see you all on Sunday the 3rd of May.
Yeah, so brilliant message from Kevin. I want to reiterate to fans as well, these legends, players that are coming back, they're giving up their time to do this. It's for a great charity. And like I say, it's not about the football club. It's not about this season. It's about players that have given us so many happy years over the years, watching Rotherham, that actually care about the club, that put the shirt on with pride. So what's gone on this season, we need to put to bed. We're actually probably going to see some goals as well, which we haven't been seeing this season. So that's another benefit. You will actually see goals. And like I said, the cost of it is more than half less than what you've been paying for a regular game. I mean, you can't even get around a drinks for the cost of the game, to put it into perspective regarding the cost. So for me, I would just strongly urge to bring your friends and family, come to the game, because it is a great event. We've got a QR code in the top right hand corner as well, so you scan that, takes you straight to the ticket page for you to purchase them. So I'm going to go to Pete. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask Alfie a question. So fire away.
Hey, Adam. Yeah, you play with some good strikers at Rotherham. Who were your favourite strike partner you played with your time at us?
I think Popey. I think I've said it a few times on other podcasts and stuff when I spoke about my time at Rotherham. I think me and Popey was probably the best, foil for me. He gets hold of the ball, he wins, he's ugly with it. He doesn't look right with his big copers on, but there is a bit of football intelligence that you can play off. We just worked really well together. Off the pitch, we gelled. He was, sort of the archetype, big horrible frontman who I could sort of buzz around, and I think that's why I had such a good goal scoring record when playing with him, is because we did really gel in that sort of instance.
Yeah, I felt a bit sorry for Tom, because you were banging out goals in, weren't you? You weren't actually scoring. And I met Tom Pope, I think it was 2009, at Oasis at Eaton Park. We just signed him. Yeah. And there were two Stoke fans. We were talking about football. The point went, my mate's just signed for you. I went, oh, Tom Pope. I went, yeah. He said, I'll fetch him over. He come over. He had a few to drink, like a pint pot in hand.
Doesn't sound like Popey, that. No, it's not the Popey I know.
He goes, yeah, I've just signed for you. I'm like, Jesus. And that's why I've always liked Tom Pope. He were right down to earth, and a lot of Rotherham fans didn't take to him, but I took to him straight away when I met him at Oasis gig. It was brilliant.
Yeah,
and when he played with you just bounced off each other, didn't you? But I didn't think you got long enough to play together, if you know what I mean. It didn't last very long, did it?
I think with Popey, I think he got injured. I can't remember the game. He got injured late in the season. I think he broke his foot. And then obviously Tails came in and did really well. Who's a different type of striker. He's a bit more cultured, I'd say, than Popey. A bit more technical. Wasn't as good aerially, but much better, with the ball at his feet, I'd say, without being disrespectful to Tom. I'm sure he'd agree. But for the way I played, I think Tom suited me a little bit better. Definitely for League Two anyway. And, Tom carved out a fantastic career for himself as a target man, a goal scoring target man away from Rotherham. It just didn't quite work for him goals wise when he was there, but I think as a strike partner, Popey was excellent for me, and I did really enjoy playing with him.
Yeah, cheers, Adam. Thank you.
No worries.
Tom, have you got a question for Adam?
Yeah, I mean, Adam, what a career you've had, mate. Honestly, what a career. I think we're both 40 this year, aren't we, pal? We're both 40.
Yeah. Whisper that though. Whisper it.
I'm 40 next Friday. So.
Oh God, I got till December. Don't worry.
Yes, I've already looked up your birthday. What a career you've had, mate. I mean, I'm looking at your stats, pal. It's quite incredible. Coming away from Rotherham, you went and played for Hibernian, didn't you?
Yeah.
My grandmother, I live in Scotland, by the way, Adam.
Yeah.
My grandmother is she's no longer with us. How did you enjoy your time at Hibs?
I loved it. Edinburgh is an amazing city. I actually wish I moved up there when I was a bit younger because I could see myself living up there. Fantastic club, much bigger as well. The perception, obviously, as someone from England going up north, is there's only two clubs there, etc. But I went up there and, training ground was fantastic, stadium brilliant, fans really good as well. So I had a great time. I managed to only get my proper first injury there, which was obviously I was 37. So having a knee injury at 37 doesn't really help you getting another year. So I loved it. I loved it at Hibs. I had a really good time. Managed to play in Europe in a few qualifiers as well, which was something that really excited me. And I had a great time there.
Another point though, Adam. You also got Premier League Player of the Month in 2000 and what was it? 11, 12?
I want to say 12, but it'd be January 13.
January.
So it's 12, 13, but it'll be 13.
But was that from the brace against Chelsea or?
Yeah. So that was the that was the month where I scored 5 in the Prem and then I scored 2 in the Cup as well. So I scored 7 that month.
So what I want to ask Adam is, do you get a phone call saying you've got Premier League Player of the Month, or does somebody just turn up with a trophy for you, or what?
It was a bit. To be fair, I vaguely remember it, so I half want to think that someone from the club just said you need to go down to the stadium. So I've gone down to the stadium just in a tracksuit, which you do, and I think Brian McDermott's there as well because he got Manager of the Month, and just went, yeah, by the way, you Player of the Month. Here's your trophy, and obviously someone was there to hand me the trophy. It was, I can't quite remember how it fully went, but I think it was pretty much like that, as if there it is.
But I mean, you must have got that trophy still, Adam. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the garage somewhere. Unfortunately, it's been in storage for a while. Yeah, it's been in storage for a while.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate. To win that is pretty special. And what I will say for myself, I enjoyed watching you banging the goals in, and you're an absolute goal machine. And I knew from watching you for a few games that you go on to better, not better things. You go higher, and
thank you.
Which you did, mate. Which you did. Fantastic for you, pal.
No, thanks very much. Yeah, I appreciate it. To be fair, without Rotherham, I don't get there. They gave me the platform, and obviously I went from there with Reading, who and I was really lucky to be in a really successful team there, and continue my learning and improving there, which was all I wanted really, was to prove myself at a higher level, and I think I did that.
Last question, Adam. Were you part of the record-breaking Reading Championship?
No, that was. I'm not that old. I'd have to be 50 odd for that one. Though that's the 106. That was. I think that I don't want to get it wrong, but I think that might be 2005, 2006 season, around then. That was like Sidwell, Doyle.
Yes,
Long when he was young. Yeah. Glenn Little, Shorey. It was sort of, that was Hanneman. That was them. We were obviously 12, 13, 11, 12 when we got promoted. Because I remember I started the season at Rotherham.
Of course you did.
We've got some questions coming in as well. So, who does Adam support? So, have you got a team that you support? Coming from Stockport, it's got to be United, hasn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Man United. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, I always had a soft spot for Stockport. Obviously, I grew up in their academy, and centre of excellence it was back then. Used to go to Stockport games, so obviously I had ties to Stockport coming through there. But I've always been a United fan. Well, my family's always been Reds, and we are as well. In fact, all my family's Reds, apart from my middle daughter, who's decided to be a City fan.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So so how did the move come about, Adam? When you actually came to Rotherham, so you was at Rochdale. Because I remember us signing you from Rochdale. I was shocked that we got you, because I thought even then because you scored decent goals at Rochdale. I thought you might have got a sort of championship move rather than moving to us. I was shocked that we'd managed to get you. So how did the move sort of come about from Rochdale to Rotherham?
Well, I think there'd always been a few sort of rumours at that point where I think it might have been Huddersfield who were looking at me around that time. And then we started the season, we played Port Vale away, and I was on the bench. And I remember we were coming home after that game, and I remember getting a text message off, I think the assistant or the manager, saying, "We've accepted a bid for you from Rotherham." And I was on the back of the coach. They've come up to see me and said, like, "Look, we've accepted a bid for you. It's up to you. We don't want you to go, but we can't turn down the money pretty much, and it's on you what you want to do." So I said, "Yeah, I'll speak to them." So spoke to Mark Robbins on the Sunday, and obviously Mark Robbins, being a diminutive striker who scores a lot of goals, was someone who I wanted to really work with, because I felt like I think I scored close to 40 goals for Rochdale in the 2 seasons. So I felt like I need to do something to, further my game even more, become an ultimate, like starting striker, where I'm pretty much the first name on the team sheet. And Mark Robbins really sold that to me. Showed obviously what the club had in store for the stadium, obviously the training ground as well. So the plans were there to go on to something even bigger. So for me, I was like, yeah, sign me up. To work with someone like Mark Robbins was something I jumped at the chance of doing. Obviously, then came over, did the deal, and that was that really. And just carried on from there. Started, we trained at Donny at the time, and just kicked on from there.
So Mark Robbins, obviously, he's gone on to have a great career as a manager. What was he like as a manager? Did you enjoy working with him? Was he what you expected or not?
Yeah, really good to work with. Obviously, quiet demeanour. You didn't get too much from him a lot of the time. But for me, I had good conversations with him. He helped me with certain things. His coaches obviously helped me develop my game as well. And obviously he moves early in my time from signing. I think he moved after 8-9 games. So I was a bit like, oh, this isn't great. Obviously I'd signed for him as one of the main points, but obviously started the season really well as well. And obviously Ronnie comes in and I do really well for Ronnie as well.
So over the career, you've had quite a few sort of managers. Which would you pinpoint as the sort of best manager that you've worked with over the years?
I think Brian McDermott, just for what he got out of me, and me as a player, and proving that I can play at that level, and obviously proving to myself as well. I had a great spell with Neil Lennon at Bolton, who was a little bit more colourful in the way he talked and communicated, but I had such a good relationship with him that I felt so loved at that point, where I'd not been like that for a while. And he really gave me a lot of confidence in the way I played. So probably Brian McDermott for what he helped me do with my game and helped me improve myself. And then probably selfishly for a small period with Neil Lennon, just because he was hilarious with some of the stuff he did. And just he was a character, and brilliant with me. At a point in my career where I needed someone like that who would really help me.
Yeah. So obviously you made it to the Premier League. So what's your sort of standout moment as a player where you look back now and think, one of your top sort of highlights of being a professional football player, really?
Well, it's not enough. Funny enough, it's not really to do with the Premier League. It's the season before we played Southampton in the Champ, and it was like first v second or builders who wins the league, and I come on and score two, and we win 3-1 away at the St Mary's. Was probably one of the best moments I've had in football. And then I've got one with Bolton where we stay up on the last day. I come on, score, and set up two, and we survive by the skin of our teeth. And them sort of two moments for me are probably the two standout moments that I've had in my career, where I can almost relive it in my head and still get goose pimples on my arms and still feel the feelings that I had when I scored, and the feelings of emotions going through the game. I think another clarifying one, but it's nowhere near as probably significant, is probably my first goal in the Premier League. On the first game of the season, we played Stoke, and I got a penalty in the 90th minute and scored that. And I think that's like a crystallising moment of, 12 months ago I was playing against Barnet at the Don Valley, and now I'm scoring against Stoke in the Premier League in the last minute. It's sort of like a dream come true moment, and that's a real significant moment in my career, but it's not quite as pivotal as the other two moments, if that makes sense.
And who would you say is the best player you've played with and played against?
It's hard to say played with, because I played with some fantastic players, even in Sydney. I spent 5 years there, and some amazing players who've not many people would have heard of, but incredible players, technical players. But I think from a selfish perspective and how I play the game, I have a great relationship with frontmen and wingers. And for me, Gareth McCleary was probably my chief provider when I was at Reading, especially in the second and third season there. So I'd probably say him as the not so glamorous name, but for me, someone who just always knew what I wanted as a player. So he'd always find me. He'd always be unselfish to pass or cross. So him in that sort of instance. I think against, I probably always remember playing against Terry, where coming on at Stamford Bridge and getting levelled by him after about 2 minutes and thinking, oh wow, this is mint, sort of thing. Like, Terry's just levelled me here. Like I say, 12 months ago I was getting levelled by, no disrespect, but League Two defenders. Now I'm getting levelled by, England captain, Chelsea, Champions League winner, and etc. etc. So
Yeah.
that sort of thing for me is that I'd probably say
What
that.
was the difference between sort of the Premier League and playing in League Two? Did you have to adapt your game? Was it? Did you feel the sort of change in standard straight away once you're playing at that standard?
I think it was more for me. The biggest change was League Two to Championship. Championship to Premier League. I didn't really feel like that was much of a change for me. I think League Two to Championship physically was a lot harder. Defenders were a lot stronger, a lot more aggressive. Physically could match you and bully me really a lot more. Whereas the Premier League, I felt like they wasn't as aggressive. They weren't really trying to win every ball. They were sort of respective. If you had a good first touch, they'd respect it and just sort of let you play as long as you're good playing backwards and not turning. They didn't really need to come in and sort of smash you. Whereas in the Championship, if there's any sign of the ball, they come and just kick through you, sort of thing. And I felt like there was a little bit more time in the Premier League than there was in the Championship. And so going from League Two to the Championship, the intensity difference was such a big change for me.
And what was your highlight moment at Rotherham? So obviously we spoke off camera about obviously disappointment at the playoffs, but is there a moment that stands out when you played for Rotherham that sort of stands out above everything else you did there?
I'd probably say the first playoff game away. The 90th minute winner at Aldershot away. And obviously, as we spoke before about Don Valley, the home leg against Aldershot again, them two games were, really special moments. Being able to score in both of them games and go to Wembley was incredible. and obviously I scored the hat trick. 4 against Cheltenham, I think it was. So there's some really good moments there, but I think obviously the Aldershot moment, probably the typical me game really, where away at Aldershot touched the ball probably about 8 times. Ended up scoring the winner in the 90th minute was sort of a my goal as well, where I've gambled and finished 1-on-1. So that was sort of really good moment for me. Give us a real good advantage coming to the home leg, and to score again in that with a really good atmosphere at Don Valley was probably 2 standout moments for me.
So coming on to this game that are playing, is there any players that you are looking forward to playing with or against? Is there anybody on the sides that you're looking forward to, or old friends that you're sort of meeting up again with for the first sort of time, really?
Well, yeah, obviously Revs, who came to Cardiff, obviously he's doing a fantastic job now at Stevenage, isn't he? So seeing him again will be nice to see him. Johnny Mullins as well. I've not seen him for a long time. Sharpsy as well as playing, so it'll be good to see him. Obviously I want to see some of the old teammates who I played with. Kev again. Last time I saw Kev, we were unfortunately at Joe Thompson's funeral, so it'll be nice to see him on a bit of a brighter occasion than a funeral. So
Is he
there is
still
some.
playing, Kev?
He is. He's still scoring as well. He's doing fantastically well.
Yeah,
Kev.
he's got some engine on him, man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I
going.
think applauded. I think he's 45, 46 and doing them.
Yeah.
He's doing unreal, mate, to carry on that long and he's still scoring goals. I'm pretty sure he's in double figures this season. It'll be great to see him, and great to see all the old players there. I think obviously Frecklinton's just been announced on there, I think, as well. So it'll be good to see some of the players who've played against.
Show as well with you, but he's I think he got something on this evening. But that's another obviously Rotherham player that went on to do amazing things for the club. So Tom, have you got anything else for Alfie tonight? Have you found his home address yet or anything?
Sorry, Adam, did you just say about Joe Thompson before, did you?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Yeah, what a lovely bloke. I was actually, oh God, it's actually be a year since he died next Friday. Yeah. Sadly, I met him at Carlisle United against Peterborough. Yeah. What a lovely bloke. And I tell you what, he was... I don't support Carlisle, by the way, Adam. I was there with work. I live in Scotland. Yeah. And I just want to say about Joe Thompson, what a resilient chap and what an absolute warrior. And I was absolutely gutted when he passed. He fought an amazing battle and such a really nice bloke. Joe Thompson, brilliant guy.
Yeah, massive loss.
Yeah, massive loss, mate. Massive loss. I spoke to him at length that evening. It was Carlisle v Peterborough. It was 1-1. It was a crap game. But so just when you mentioned him there, and obviously, he's passed away and what have you. But what a great guy he was. Yeah. But Adam, all I want to say, pal, is what is your first name?
Adam.
Is it?
You sound like my kids. You only get to say that when I get my passport out.
So is it obviously on Wikipedia is something different?
Yeah, that's correct.
It is correct. Right.
It is a funny story, that as well. This is my dad's fault, this.
Right,
so with myself and my brother, we've got like triple names. So we've got 2 middle names. My dad was the same. So my dad's called Glenville Lyndon Darrell Le Fondre. So my brother was called Lyndon Daniel Michael Le Fondre. I'm Glenville Adam James Le Fondre. However, I should have been Lyndon and my brother should have been Glenville because my dad didn't know his own name. He thought his name was the other way around. So he thought he
Right.
was called Lyndon Glenville Darrell Le Fondre and just gone as Glenn.
Right.
Whereas he's actually, so he called me Glenville when I should have been Lyndon. So yes, I've had to live with that for obviously the entirety of my life and try to hide it as best I can within football circles. But you know, when the internet's out there, it's always there. So yeah, there's no hiding from Glenville, unfortunately.
So breaking news on KB Terrace Talk, we've got Glenville, Adam James Le Fondre.
Yeah, it doesn't quite go well. Golf doesn't go quite as well as Alfie, does it? So that was always a problem when I was younger as well. When they used to do registers at school, I used to have to go and tell the teacher. And it weren't a fun time, let me tell you.
Absolute legend, though, Glenville. Adam, sorry.
Hey, they better not be announcing that when I get in the stadium, though. We don't need to hear that. Number 39, Glenville Le Fondre.
That it's announced as that.
No, I'll send my dad out there then instead of me. I'll put my dad in my boots and my kit instead.
Willis says, what an absolute legend. I'm sorry, I know you don't feel comfortable with the legend, but you're going to be called it all night, unfortunately, Alfie. What a legend, my all-time favourite player. Can you ask him what he thinks to the current state of affairs at Rotherham United?
Well, I think as much as everyone, really, they're in a bad place at this moment in time. Obviously, there's been a lot made of, obviously, Hammy's short reign. Obviously, the reigns before that as well have, sort of left him short-handed a little bit as well. And, you know, I'm guessing all the injuries that they've had this season has not helped as well. But I didn't think, like I said, watching them last season against Peterborough, I didn't think they had the squad to challenge. And I didn't think they had the squad to go down, though. When I watched them, I didn't think they were, the team that sort of gets relegated out of League One. So unfortunately, it's put them in a precarious position. I think it's a good chance now for a reset and look at, making the squad a little bit more youthful, a little bit more robust. I've said before, looking at saleable assets. That's how football works these days. Is you've got to buy to sell to sort of sustain, and I'm sure the club are looking at that. Recruitment wise. Funny enough, back in May time, I did ask Hammy if he wanted any help with recruitment and stuff like that, because that's something I'm sort of in the world of recruitment at CFG at this moment in time, doing a bit of scouting for them. So I did sort of get my hands dirty with if it was with anyone, with someone who I know, and a club that's close to me as well. So it's just important that they get everything right. If obviously if Lee Clark's going to get the job full time, they've got to get the recruitment right, and they've got to make sure they hold the slide and have a real clear plan of going forward of what this team does. I think you've got to get back to I think Hammy said it a lot of Rotherham DNA, and I think you can look back to the Warnies teams when he was having such good success. They weren't always household names, but they worked their nuts off. And when you played against Rotherham, you always knew you were in for an hard game, regardless if the football was pretty or if you won or not. You knew you had to run like mad to beat a Rotherham team. And I think, not just this team right now. I think football in general. I think if you have a real fit, athletic team, you're going to do reasonably well. And obviously the expectations for Rotherham United is to bounce back at the first attempt. Obviously, if they do actually go down, they're still mathematically available to get out of it. But obviously, forward thinking, you hope that they have a real good assault at League Two next season, because I don't think League Two is overly strong anyway. So you recruit well enough and you sort of bounce back and go again. Really, I think that's the sort of steps you have to take, and try and take as much positivity you can into next season, and sort of flush out the negativity with this season.
Which brings me on to Alfie. How much is it going to cost us to get you from Manchester?
Oh, you'd have to speak to Gaffer. I'm not sure what my sell-on clause is. I think it's about $5,000.
Yeah, $5,000, right? We'll get that sorted. We'll We'll put
I'm
a
not too
goal
sure the fans will be happy with a
out.
40-year-old running around up top, though, mate.
Mate, you haven't seen what's been running around up top this season. It's going to be an
So what,
improvement.
you've got some really good strikers, mate.
Yeah,
I've seen the team. I've seen
we
the
have.
team,
And
mate.
this is what I've been saying. Obviously, Jordan Hugel, he's got the pedigree. Obviously, he's been missing, but I have said for a long time, without the service to the striker, it's like a graveyard shift. And sometimes it makes the players that are playing in that position look worse than what they are. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Is that something that, fans don't really take into consideration? It's just like, oh, he's useless. Nombe's useless. Then they're not useless players. These are not. I'm not buying it. I just believe we're not getting the service, and it's been making them look 10 times worse.
Yeah, well, I think Nombe is one of the best strikers in League One. I'd be very surprised if he's at Rotherham next season. I know that's probably not nice to hear, but I don't expect him to be playing in League Two next season. And Jordan Hugel's been a fantastic striker over the years, scored a lot of goals. And from my perspective, a striker is only as good as his service. So that's not laying blame on the other part of the team, because you're all part of, obviously, the system and how it works. But ultimately, if you're not getting chances, then surely that's what you're judged on, is chances you get, and obviously taking them chances as well. I'm guessing if they were being, rather poor in front of goal, then it's something of, you can sort of ask questions of the striker. But if you're not getting them opportunities, I think it's always easy to go, well, I've looked on Sofa's score and he got 5.2. He had a bad game. It can be completely misleading.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the actual stats as well, you can see it's not like the strikers are missing chances. We're having the fewest shots on target. We're having the fewest chances created. For me, it all spells down to the system. They're not providing the service. And obviously, as strikers, they're going to get the blame.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
I just think you could put Haaland in that team at the minute and he wouldn't score goals because there's no service there. Not like we're missing chances. If you're missing chances, then a quality striker could be that difference. But we're not in that position where we're missing the chances, and that's, for me, been the issue all season, is that we don't play with any width. We don't put the ball in the box, and we don't have enough energy around the team, legs around the team to get the service to the strikers. So a bad recipe, and that's where we are, unfortunately.
Yeah, of course, and obviously being blighted with injuries, players going down at crucial periods is not ideal as well. Nombe's been out quite a while, hasn't he? I think just before he came back.
Yeah,
Hugel's missed a few games this season, so it's not ideal if the players who can make a difference are not on the pitch as well. So it obviously it works hand in hand. You need chances to score, but obviously you need a lot of things to go well for you, and it's almost as if everything has gone completely wrong this season for Rotherham.
Yeah, it's frustrating because we have got some great. I mean, you look at Dan Gore, who's on loan from Manchester United. He's just a phenomenal player, but again, he's been hit and miss with injuries, so we haven't had him all the time. Then he gets a red card, we lose him to suspension. So it is frustrating because really this squad, as though it does lack quality in it, it should nowhere be near getting relegated to League Two. That's my frustration, and that fans have been frustrated as well.
I'm sure that's everyone's frustration. Rotherham didn't expect at the start of the season to be looking at getting relegated. Let's be honest. I think everyone will say the same. They didn't think coming. What's it now? The 40th game or something like that. Maybe 41st game. They didn't think they'd be looking back and thinking, "Wow, we're second off bottom or third off bottom." They were thinking maybe we can go 10th or 12th to the playoffs and maybe nick a late playoff position. I think obviously, like I say, injuries have dictated probably a fair bit of it, and maybe performances have suffered off the back of that as well. And then I know as a player from being injured, when you come back into the team, sometimes you don't always hit the form straight away. It can take a while if you've been out for a bit to get back to where you want to be at the certain level you want to be and be able to play at, and Rotherham have not had that time this season because they needed results near enough every week. After so long, when you're in a scrap, you need results week on week, and it's evident they've not been getting that, have they? So I think that's always going to be a problem.
Yeah. So just a bit of personal reflection for you, Alfie. So looking back, is there anything you would have done differently through your career?
Yeah, there's a couple of decisions I would have made differently, but that's always hindsight. I made a couple of bad decisions on where I went. One time on loan, sort of killed my career a little bit, which had a knock-on effect. And then trying to think where else. Other than that, I think I've made generally decent decisions, football-wise, where I've chose to play, and that sort of thing. There's not really too many things I look back and I think, damn, that was a big mistake, or that was a real regret of mine. There's maybe one big one where I chose to go to Wolves on loan, and probably in hindsight I wouldn't have gone there. I would have gone somewhere else. But you make the decision with the best evidence in front of you at that time, and unfortunately for me, that was a bad decision looking back. But ultimately, it led me to carry on playing until I'm nearly 39 now. Oh, well, I am 39. Sorry, nearly 40 at the end of this year. So and I'm not looking to quit just yet. Anyway,
Same as Tom, but I want an ID check on Tom. I'm sure he's closing in on 50.
No, come on,
do an ID check.
I think Adam looks older than me, personally.
Don't be cheeky, you.
You can afford the hair.
Adam, what advice would you give to any young player coming through now?
Play as much as you can. I think depending on what club you're at, if you're an 18, 19-year-old who's playing in a reserve team or B team or 21s team, go out and play. Go out and play men's football. Go and play first team football as much as you can. Whether it's going playing in non-league, whether it's going playing in League 2 if you're from the Premier League, whether it's League 1, whatever division you are and you get a chance to go and play first team football somewhere, go and do it. There's no substitute for that. And also, as a young player, you can be stuck in a system where after 3 or 4 years, you've been an under-21s player and you come out into the big wide world and you've got 0 league appearances. Clubs look at you and go, all right, we'll give you a 2-week trial. And then you go, you can't play the football I need you to play. Whereas if you go somewhere, you sort of learn them facets of the game and you learn a different way of playing. That's obviously more top end football, but still it's relevant for every footballer, and you get people looking at you and watching you. I think 21's football and B team football is, for want of a nicer word, crap, and doesn't really serve a purpose unless you're a late bloomer who's going to sort of grow into football later. A lot of the time you need to play football, you need to play real football and get first team appearances and grow your game out of that, grow confidence in winning, learning how to play the game properly, learning a different way of playing the game, getting confidence in doing that as well. And also enjoy it as well.
Enjoy it, yeah. That's the main thing.
That's probably the key. That's why I'm still playing. I love it. I enjoy football, but that's probably a little bit more of an easier statement to say. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the game. Enjoy what you do, because a million people would love to be in the position you're in.
True. Next one, a good question coming in. Did you ever get close to rejoining the club later on in your career?
Yeah, we had a couple of conversations. When I went to Wigan and I left Wigan to go to Bolton in that January. So in the January, I spoke to Warney, who was the gaffer at the time. I think you were rock bottom, or you were like pretty much relegated. And I said to Warney, come and get me in on loan. Said, Wigan were covering part of my wages, Cardiff were covering my wages, so you wouldn't have to pay much. Get me in, get me fit, let me play, and I'll score some goals. Blah, 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 etc., etc. Trying to sell myself a little bit. Warney was like, yeah, love it. Want to bring you in. Let me speak to head of recruitment. Can't remember who it was. Spoke to him. I think you went and got a lad from Norwich.
Carlton Morris. Carlton Morris.
Yeah, you went and got him on loan instead of me, and that was that. I went to Bolton, got promoted to the Championship, and signed there.
Yeah.
So that was the closest I ever came to coming back.
Yeah,
Adam, that's mental that you just said that. That is really incredible. That is brilliant.
Yeah. So I did what I wanted to come back because it was Championship football, place that I loved, place where I was loved. I needed a bit of love at that point. Warney knew me. Warney knew what I could bring. Warney wanted to bring me back, and then it just didn't happen. Goes up the chain, and they didn't want to do that.
Really?
Wow. Because on X and Twitter, for last 8-9 years, it used to be Le Fondre's coming back. I don't know if you've seen it, Adam. Every year, when Le Fondre's coming back, I'm like, I wish you would. But you never.
To be fair, when I came back from when I left Hibernian, I probably would have come back then. I had Stockport who sort of offered me, half a role there of sort of player mentor, which was something, I could have easily done, but didn't quite work out for both of us. And then there was only really Rotherham Rotherham and Bolton, who were both in League One at that point, who would have done that for. And got nothing back from Rotherham, so I just thought, okay, fair enough. That's football. I was, like I said, 37 at that point. I wasn't holding out, going, this is who I am, sort of thing. It was sort of thing. If you want any help with young strikers, I still think I could contribute to football. I've just played in the SPL, just scored, I think it's about 5 or 6 goals for them. Being a bit of an impact player, but I think if you spoke to most fans of Burnley at that point, I think I did, all right up there considering my age. And I didn't think League One would have been, too big of a jump for me. I think I would have been all right in that league to navigate that league as well. But that happens in football. You know what I mean? I'm not too hurt about that.
Because you're doing with Joe Neal, wouldn't you, Adam?
Yeah. I was with Newley up at Hibs. Great guy, really good guy, really good captain. Played golf with him a lot. Really good golfer as well.
Yeah, well, well, I'm sure he was a terrific player for us as well, Adam. So yeah.
Yeah, John Noel. Yeah, he was. If you could play one match, Adam, again, relive another a match, which game would it be?
Can I change the outcome?
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll play better in it. Playoff final.
Wembley.
Yeah, definitely. To be fair, we should have never been in. It's easy saying this, but we should have never been in the playoffs, etc. I think we were top 3 for the majority of that season, and I think we were anyway. And I think we dropped out. I think we had a bad March time maybe, and we never really should have got into the playoffs and gone down that route. But ultimately, the playoff final for me. I would love to go back and give that a do-over. Probably obviously all on me, that performance. I was poor. If I'm honest, I was probably a little bit too amped for that game, probably trying a little bit too hard because I'd lost the player final the year before. Felt like this is selfish me, thinking this is my moment to shine. This is all and probably trying too much to do too many things, and ended up being crap. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I was awful in the player final, next to 0 impact. So I'd love to do that game again, and with a little bit of a calmer head that I've got, go and play that game again, and really impact that game, because we played Dagenham twice that season, beat them twice, and I think I scored 3 against them or 2 against them. I scored in both games anyway, and I think we beat them in both games as well. So obviously it doesn't always work like that, but ultimately I would love to have a do-over on that one.
Yeah, I thought we would win that game. Speaking to their fans before outside, that they were petrified, obviously, because you'd already scored a few past them, and they thought they didn't really fancy the chances, and we just didn't show up that day. It was a shock, really, that we performed the way we did. But yeah, I think that's a good one to rewrite.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We can. And what's the favourite stadium atmosphere you've played at? So out of everywhere you've played, is there any that stand out to you?
Not so much for atmosphere, just going to Old Trafford, obviously being as a boyhood Red, starting at Old Trafford, playing there was amazing. For me, that was, that's sort of the pinnacle of everything for me. But being a United fan, getting to play at Old Trafford, playing against people who have watched on telly for years, borderline idolised some of them. That's probably the best. I think atmosphere for like the game. I played in a derby in Sydney when they have Sydney v Western Sydney. We had one of the last games before I left. We had an elimination final there, and the atmosphere was brilliant. An incredible atmosphere. It was the first time they got the finals for a while, and we were on their patch and beating them 2-1, scoring the winner, and that the limbs and atmosphere was incredible.
Did you do a Hibs Hearts, Adam?
I did, yeah. Only at their place. Drew to all that. That was a very vociferous atmosphere.
Imagine.
Yeah, they were calling me all nice things, as you could imagine as well.
Yeah.
They were really fond of me. But no, that was a great atmosphere as well. You can see the hatred between the two clubs really does make it a fantastic game. In that game we come from 2-0 down as well to pull it back to 2-2. So you can imagine what the ebbs and flows of that game, what that atmosphere would have been like was incredible. And then the home games I was injured for, and one of them at home they scored a 90th minute winner. Shanklin scored a worldie, so obviously they got their moment in it as well. So the atmosphere there is incredible. What I will say was with Hibs going to Rangers as well away, I heard a lot. Yeah, going to Ibrox, there was probably a 10-minute spell in the second game we played there where you couldn't hear anything. Literally, you couldn't, just the deafening, couldn't hear people talking 10 yards away from you. And that was one thing that really did stick with me. Whereas not many pitches have been like that on that I've played, like not many games have been like that. But that one atmosphere at Ibrox was like that.
Did you not get to play at Parkhead, Adam?
No, I was injured for that. For that game.
Wow.
I was gutted, and obviously we missed out on the 6 as well. So the second game, which would have been at Celtic Park, we missed out on, but with a last-minute throw-in at Motherwell away.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
Fair enough. So obviously we're coming towards the end of the show, but I just want everybody really just to sort of get the message across of why it is so important to attend this. It's an amazing game. Kev's put so much work into it as well to try and get it on for the fans. Just remember, guys, this is for the supporters to thank these legends that are coming back to put the shirt on again. And I can guarantee you will see more effort from these lads than you've seen on the pitch this season. That's what I can guarantee you. And I can guarantee you there's a goal machine just below there that's probably going to score a couple of goals as well. So
I hope so.
So I just want each one of you just to give a quick sort of statement on why people should attend. I'll start with you, Pete, then we'll go Tom, and then Alfie, and then I'll finish off.
Yeah, everybody just buy tickets, even if you can't go like me. Obviously, when it goes to Hospice, which is well known in Rotherham, what helps people. So people just scan that card up there and get your tickets bought, please. Help the club out and help the Hospice.
And Tom?
First and foremost, I want to thank Glenville for coming on tonight. Adam, coming on tonight. Yes, look, it's a tenner a ticket. Get yourself in. Go down. They've just said Lee Frecklinton's playing tonight. Not tonight, but when the game's played. Otherwise, he'll be on his own. Listen, there's a lot of lads, a lot of proper legends giving up their time to come and play for this fantastic club. Forget what's gone before. we all know the writing is on the proverbial wall. So listen, get yourself down, support a great cause. Kev Johnson's done a fantastic thing. He's got all these legends back together. They've got Adam Le Fondre here, who is probably the best finisher between him and Mark Robbins, maybe. But Mark's not going to be there, so Adam is the best finisher on the pitch. So,
hey, that's if I'm on the pitch. I might not be starting. You never know.
Oh, no, you'll be starting, Adam. Don't be daft. You'll be up
You
there,
know,
mate.
who's going to be your manager, Adam? You know which ones they are now, don't you?
I think what I read, I think it's Warnock. I think Warnock's my gaffer.
Oh, you're definitely scoring 6. So get yourself down, support the charities, forget about this season, go and see what the crack is, go and support the lads. And I live in Scotland, and I'm going to try and get there. So, listen, cheers, Adam. Thank you, mate.
Yeah, if you've got Neil Warnock as manager, I'm surprised he ain't trying to bring Paddy Kenny with him as well. He always turns up with Neil Warnock somewhere. So don't be surprised to see Paddy Kenny pop out of Warnock's bag somewhere. So, Alfred, thank you for joining us. Just quickly, can you get the fans, obviously, why they should come and watch you at this centenary game?
I just think it's a great thing for, it's a great cause, both charities who are in desperate need of this, who, like Kev said before on the video, I think, it's going to go to a great cause. It's going to go to people who really need it as well. Obviously, if you can, afford to come, then please come and get to spend time with, some older players who you've, might watch when you were younger, or, some old players like me, you might watch when you were younger as well. And you might get to say goodbye to them or hello to them and, have a conversation that you might, never thought you'd be able to have. So I'm sure, all of us as former players coming back, we're really excited to come and see everyone and, come see some familiar faces. When I came back against Peterborough, I was really happy with, seeing all the people that I'd seen when I was at the club years ago. So, seeing some familiar faces will be great again. And like I say, if it's really well supported as well, it'll be fantastic for all of us. It'll make it an amazing, thing we can all look back on together and share, great memories about, obviously, and put to bed a pretty dismal season.
And this is what I'm saying. This is a chance to actually have some positivity, because we haven't had, as a football club, positivity for the last 3 years. So it is a chance for everybody to get together, be positive, and remember these great players they're not the ones that haven't put it in this season. These guys have, over the years, have given me and my family and my children, my dad, special memories that you'll never forget. And this will be a day that you'll never forget. It's going to be a special day where you get to see these players all play on the same pitch, and I think it'll be a competitive game, because you know what footballers like, they don't want to lose, very competitive. So I think it'll be a competitive game, and I think it's one that you're going to remember. And I think if you don't attend it, you'll regret not going. So if you, like you say, if you can afford it, please get a ticket, support the cause. QR code's in the top right corner. I want to thank you, everybody, for tuning in again. We've had good numbers again watching live. I want to thank Alfie. I'm sorry, I'm going to call you a legend again. Legend of the football club. Fantastic player, fantastic finisher. And most importantly, I don't know what he's showing in the corner. Most importantly, is a fantastic bloke as well. So to come up, give his Friday night up, is an amazing thing to come on and advertise this great event. So I do appreciate you coming on, Alfie. And thank you, Tom, again. Quality as always.
That was just me showing my age. Oh,
it's proving it. Yeah, it's proving he's 40. But I'm old enough to remember you can still do fake ID, mate.
Oh, well, that's a Royal Navy ID. It's military.
Yeah. It doesn't look like you on the picture, though, is what I'm going to say.
No.
I've got a black eye. I got punched the week before I joined up.
You look like you look like some Iraqi on that. I don't know about a black eye.
Whoa. No, I've got
Thank you, Voice of Reason, for joining us again.
Yeah, pleasure,
really
mate. Pleasure.
appreciate it.
Adam,
Like I say, guys, get your tickets and up the Millers. Cheers, guys.
cheers,
Thanks,
lads.
guys. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Always,
Adam.
pal.
Lad. Thank you.